Good morning, everyone. So, right up until yesterday evening at about 7 p.m., I knew exactly what the prelude would be this morning. I got a very brief chance to to hear from Reverend Quander about what she'll be sharing this morning. And then I sat down and I listened to a song from Peter Mayer. And I realized that the song I had in mind was a placeholder. So, this is called It's Not Far. And some of it will become familiar, so if you feel like singing, please do. It's not far to another heart. It's not far to another heart. You can hear it if you listen hard. It's not far. It's not far. It's not far to another's eyes. It's not far to another's eyes. You can see through them if you try. It's not far. It's not far. It's not far to another land. It's not far to another land. If you walk there, you might understand that it's not far. It's not far. It's not far to the other side. It's not far to the other side. You can build a bridge or swim there if you like, but it's not far. It's not far. It's not far to another heart. It's not far to another heart. You just reach out from where you are, 'cause it's not far. It's not far. It's not far. It's not far.
For our centering prayer today, I am going to have picked a prayer from St. Teresa of Avila, and it's translated by Daniel Ladinsky. And it's called Laughter Came from Every Brick. Just these two words he spoke changed my life. Enjoy me. What a burden I thought I was to carry, a crucifix as he did. Love once said to me, I know a song. Would you like to hear it? And laughter came from every brick in the street and from every pore in the sky. After a night of prayer, he changed my life when he sang, Enjoy me. Amen.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, with the sweet silver song of love. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone.
Good morning, everybody. And thank you, Leah, for that. That was just marvelous. How many times have you heard the saying, life is something that happens to you while you're making other plans? Well, I don't know about you, but life has been happening from every single direction. We have had to witness so much change going on, so many events happening. And so there are times when we feel very overwhelmed with all of these events taking place, one right after the other. The fires in California. We got the possibility of not one, but 2 hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico. We've had to bear witness to brutality in our streets. And of course, there is the coronavirus. And it, in and of itself, has just caused us to have to make so many changes in our lives. Caused us to have to change how we do just about everything. Well, the title of my talk today is New Directions. In my youth, one of the many things that I loved doing was dancing. And one of the frequent moves in ballet is the move of a pirouette. And a pirouette is a spin. Now, the biggest challenge with a pirouette is learning how to spin without getting dizzy and falling down. So my instructors through the years taught us how to do what they called spotting. And what we do is to stand at the beginning of our spin and pick a spot on the wall. And as we heighten ourselves and begin our spin, our head whips around a little quicker than the body so that the spot that we chose on the wall is always in our sight. And as we practice this process, we lose this fear and imbalance. We are able to maintain our balance. We are able to be in that place of not falling down. With all the stuff going on right now in the world, we feel a little dizzy. We feel a little confused, and sometimes we feel a little lost. Just as the spotting process helps us not fall down and get dizzy when I'm dancing, we have to create a focal point in our lives so that we don't feel so lost and dizzy and falling down in our lives. And there is one constant thing in our lives that is always and ever present. It is never changing and is the never-ending source of all life. And we know that to be God. God is the one power, the one life, the one source whence all things come. The life of God lives and has its being in and through and as each and every one of us. If we look within to the core of our being, we can feel that oneness with the peace and the love of God. This is what we get to keep our eye on. This is what we are using as spotting. We spot that love of God. We feel that presence of peace. And as we do this, we maintain our balance. We let go of the fear of being dizzy or falling down or getting lost. Charles Fillmore wrote, "The mind of spirit will guide you in perfect ways, even in the minute details of your life, if you will let it do so." So the first thing that we need to do in the process of finding new directions is to create a spiritual practice. Okay, now what is a spiritual practice? A spiritual practice is allowing ourselves time each day to be still, to focus on that touchstone within us, to focus on our spot within us, that is the peace and the love of spirit. We can do this each day by engaging in prayer, by engaging in meditation, reading our daily word and or our Science of Mind magazine. We could listen to uplifting podcasts, and we could read uplifting books. Whatever it is that supports us in being able to feel that center of peace within us and to focus on that, knowing that it is always available to us at all times. We get to create a quiet space in our homes, our sacred space. We find that comfortable chair that we sit in. We close our eyes and we are still as we feel that peace and that life of God moving through us at the core and the center of our being. And as we feel this spirit, we're able to let go of a lot of worry and frustration and concerns about the appearance of the chaos in the world. We get to be in a silent moment. Living in these moments means that we must be willing to let go of the past, to let go of any fear that may be present in that moment. For where there is God, there is no room for fear. We get to allow ourselves time to let go of any past fears of challenges in life that we think might reoccur. When we live in that past, when we live in those fears, we're limited. The thinking gets limited and we are unable to really connect to that source of supply, intelligence, and good. We have to remember that life is not bound by precedent. And that means that if there were some challenges that we've had in the past, it doesn't mean that those challenges are going to choose to relive themselves. It just means that we had a growing experience, which we let go and move on. Secondly, we must refine our listening skills so that we can hear that still small voice within us, our intuition. Ernest Holmes writes, "Intuition is God in man, revealing to him the realities of being. And just as instinct guides the animal, so would intuition guide man if he would allow it to do so." How many times have we said to ourselves, you know what? I didn't listen to myself. I knew I should have taken the right turn, and I took the left one anyway. And now here I sit in 2 miles worth of traffic. I should have listened to myself. When we find life and so much change, we have a tendency to become afraid. And when we are afraid, we have a tendency not to listen to our intuition. We find ourselves declaring out loud, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to fix any of this. What's going to happen to me? It's time now for us to say to ourselves, when you don't know what to do, don't do anything until you do know what to do. That's my little mantra. When I find myself in times where I don't know what to do, or I have some decision to make and I don't feel I have the tools to make it, I quiet myself and I say, okay, I'm not doing anything until I do know what to do. This allows spirit to work with us, to move through us, to guide us, to inspire us. Spirit will move through and do just that, but we have to be willing to listen. And my definition of the word willing is saying yes, whether you want to or not. I was born over there in Georgetown University Hospital, and I grew up over here in Alexandria. After I graduated from high school, I left for college, and I was gone for the next 40 years. 5 years ago, I moved back here. I chose to leave my church in Mobile and come back here to help my brother take care of our mother. I didn't want to pack up everything and leave. I didn't want to just bring everything back and wash my hands of my life. But there was something within me that knew that this was the right thing to do. I followed my intuition. I had no idea what was going to happen in my life. All I knew was what had to take place now was taking care of my mother. So I followed that instinct, and I became her primary caregiver once I moved back here. And my only focus as her primary caregiver was to be sure that her end of life years were comfortable and peaceful, and that she was able to see her 2 children and know that they were fine, healthy, and well. She made her transition last summer. And boy, I tell you, after that, I found myself truly exhausted. I was physically exhausted. I was physically just ill. I was moving through the emotional grief. And I hadn't a clue what my life was going to look like next. All I could focus on at that time was taking my quiet time and being in my spiritual practice each and every day. All I knew how to do was to allow my intuition to support me in what has to happen today. And sometimes all I did was sleep, because that had to happen that day. But I knew that spirit would reveal to me exactly where I'm to go and what's to happen in my life. And that's all I needed to know. So over the past year, I would say to my family and my friends, you know, I got to reinvent myself. I got to find some new friends up here. My intention for the year 2020 was to find new friends, to get out, to meet people, to go places, to do things. Well, then there was the coronavirus, and that was the end of that idea. But Spirit still heard my prayers. I'm here with you today. You are new friends. And Spirit is still guiding and still showing me the way. Now, thirdly, we must set our intentions for our lives. Wayne Dyer wrote, "It is never too late to change the direction that your life is going." With everything that has happened to you, you can feel sorry for yourself, or you can treat what is happening to you as a gift. Everything is either an opportunity or a growing experience or an obstacle that will keep you from growing. You get to choose. A lot of us have relatively clean slates in our lives right now. Some of us have lost our jobs. Some of our jobs have changed where we're now doing work from home. We have to figure out new ways to educate and entertain our children. And when in the past, we left a lot of things by means of our children to our teachers and to their friends to educate them and to change and to entertain them. So we now need to come up with new directions for supporting our children in their growth and education. Some of us have financial challenges that are just flowing in a different direction. And we need to reorganize that direction. So what I get to do at this time is ask myself the magic question. And that question is, if money were no object and success was flat out guaranteed, what would my life look and feel like right now? What do I engage in right now that brings me joy? I get to set intentions as to what I want to experience in my life. I get to create and find new directions to create that life I would love to live. And I get to ask myself, as I move through my process, how can I support others in their process? I know as a teenager, unbeknownst to me at the time, I set an intention for myself to have a career in show business. Over the 5 years after I graduated from college, I managed to get myself from Wilmington, Ohio, to the office of Norman Lear in Los Angeles, California. I took a detour to a CPA firm where my boss was Norman's auditor. And my boss asked me one day, he said, "Sherrie, what do you want to do with your life?" I said, "Well, I want to work for Norman." And he said, "Oh, you do?" And I said, "Yes." And he picked the phone up. He called Norman. And he said, "Norman, my administrative assistant wants to work for you. What do we need to do to start that process?" I was shocked, but we followed through in the process. And I worked for his company for nearly 10 years. So we don't know how Spirit is going to lead us. It is our job to set those intentions and know that Spirit is at work in my life. Now is the time we must trust Spirit's guidance, direction, inspiration. Trust that Spirit is prospering us, inspiring us, and blessing us right now. We must strengthen our faith and know that Spirit has only the highest and best good taking place for us that is happening in divine order and in divine timing. And lastly, we must be willing to be in a constant state of gratitude. So many of us are finding it very challenging with all the things going on to be in a place of gratitude. We all must understand that there is always something to be grateful for. As Oprah Winfrey said, each night before you go to bed, write down 3 things from that day that you were grateful for. Take time to give thanks for all that you are and for all that you have. So what did we look at today in creating new direction? We looked at creating a spiritual practice. We looked at the concept of listening to our intuition. We looked at the concept of setting intentions for our lives. And most of all, we looked at this idea of being in constant gratitude for all that we are and for all that we have. So I'm going to leave you now with some joy-filled words of one of my favorite authors, Dr. Seuss, from his book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. Congratulations, today's your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the guy who will decide where to go. With God, all things are possible. And so it is. Join me now as we move into that place of meditation. As we take a breath and as we exhale. And as we close our eyes and as we focus on that solar plexus, that core of our being. And as we breathe, we recognize the one truth, and that is that God is all there is. I am one with the life of God right here and right now. God is the source and substance of all of my supply. I am a magnificent, individualized expression of all of that God is. I know right here and right now that I feel that peace. I feel that calm. I feel that precious connection to the absolute divine. And I take a few moments here to just be in that presence. I choose to listen to the still small voice, for I know that everything it guides me to do provides guidance, direction, inspiration, prosperity, and blessings. My life is good and very good. So I go forth this day and every day, knowing that I am guided and protected, knowing that I always have the right words to share in support of my loved ones. I know that Spirit has me in this lifetime for a reason, and I am willing to discover what that is and live it. I am in a constant state of gratitude. Gratitude for all that I am and for all that I have. God is that love. God is that peace. God is that guidance. God is my source. So I joyfully and gratefully release these words that have been spoken by means of this meditation into the loving heart and mind of God, knowing they are already done and complete in that loving heart of God by means of me, by means of each one of us here present. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
I would like everyone to sing this song with me. And the way that'll work, it's a call and response. So I'll sing a couple of lines, and your response will be, "Love lead the way." Okay? Love lead the way. And when we get to the chorus, it's also a call and response. I'll sing a line, and you'll sing it back. and just trust yourself. Trust, first of all, that you're alone probably in your room, or if you're with someone, it's a loved one who's going to accept whatever you sing. And it is more important to just raise your voice and for us to engage in this song together than to get it exactly right. This song was born out of the desire to sing something that would be resonant with what Reverend Quander shared. And I appreciate so much your message. And I appreciate that we're Alexandria neighbors. So I hope that means we'll get a chance to connect very soon. Love, would you guide my feet? Love, would you light my path? Love, lead the way. Love, would you fill my needs? Love, will you do the math? Love, lead the way. Let's do that again. Love, would you guide my feet? Love, would you light my path? Love, lead the way. Love, will you fill my needs? Love, will you do the math? Everybody sing love, lead the way. Lead the way. Lead the way. And I will walk with trust today. In all I do, in all I say, I will follow. Love, lead the way. Love, lead the way. When I don't know what I'm doing, when nothing feels okay, love, lead the way. When everything feels broken and I'm holding fear at bay, love, lead the way. Lead the way, lead the way, lead the way, lead the way, and I will walk, and I will walk with trust today, with trust today. In all I do, in all I do, in all I say, in all I say, I will follow, I will follow. Love, lead the way. Love, lead the way. All right, let's try that one more time. The chorus. Lead the way, lead the way, lead the way, lead the way. It's all right to clap. And I will walk, and I will walk with trust today, with trust today. In all I do, in all I do, in all I say, in all I say, I will follow, I will follow. Love, lead the way. Love, lead the way. Sing that with me. Love, lead the way. One more time. Love, lead the way. Thank you.
Heavenly Father, Mother God, thank you for your guidance. Forgive me for getting ahead of your plans, and help me to know when to stop and listen. for your direction. Your ways are perfect, Lord. Thank you for offering gentle grace. Amen.